80 years later, some things have dramatically changed. Technology, machinery, the acres a single farmer can manage.
Male or female?
Female.
There's a lot of music technology up here.
The Tippecanoe Sheriff's Water Response Team has been getting ready for what could be a busy weekend. Team member Matt Couch has been helping his team prepare.
Clearing things out and making sure that, if it's needed, it's ready to go, and, we're not spending extra time getting those pieces of equipment ready when needed.
The Wabash River is expected to continue rising until Saturday morning, and those vegetables have rules too.
Schools have had to cut down on the amount of starchy vegetables like potatoes and now must offer certain amounts from specific subgroups. Dark green vegetables like spinach and red-orange like tomatoes and carrots are just a few examples of what school lunch lines have to offer. Area food service directors say this is the change that is the most challenging.
At midnight, Barton Beach Road looked like this, but just 45 minutes later, the road looked like this.
Buck says he tries to avoid detours and alternate routes that would take more traffic through residential areas. That's why he says the sequence of the construction projects is so important.
Brittany, traffic is moving out here on Interstate 65. You can see here behind me that just a few cars in these northbound lanes right now. Anderson says 2 homes on Eisenhower Court upstream from here were also evacuated this morning. He says right now they are just monitoring the situation, but they have not evacuated any more homes. Now, all of the people evacuated this morning are able to stay with friends or family until they are able to get back into their homes. And Anderson says that may be a while. He says with the colder temperatures in the forecast, this ice may be sticking around.
Jeff and Gina, I'm here at State Road 225, where, as you can see behind me, the Wabash River has completely flooded over, causing a major hazard for drivers.
Purdue police and school officials have confirmed that one person has been shot. A person has been taken into custody. Other than that, that's all we know. I'm going to step aside here and show you. The scene is still very, very active here. Now, they have given students the all clear, and I spoke to a few students who were actually inside the engineering building when the shooting happened. One student told me he heard 3 loud crashes. He said it sounded like lab equipment crashing to the ground, and the next thing they knew, police entered the building running, screaming, yelling, get down, get down. From there, they had the students file out of the building, single line, very calmly, and had them wait outside the building.
Senator Kennedy made a brief stop on the campus during a campaign tour.
An icon on the campus of Purdue University.
He expressed the hope that the saying, as Purdue goes, so goes the nation, would come true.
For those old enough to remember, it's a day never forgotten.
April 7th, 1960.
April 7th, right.
The day he came.
Yes.
Bill Gettings was the mayor of Lafayette and just 32 years old at the time.
As the young people say today, it was awesome. It was great.
April 7th, 1960 began near the present-day intersection of Veterans Memorial Parkway and Haggerty Lane at Hallsmere Airport, when Senator John F. Kennedy was greeted by Mayor Gettings and a crowd of 200 to 300 people.
He was so dynamic. He's just his smile is brilliant. He just looked so sharp as he came off of that airplane. This was definitely my favorite picture, probably that I ever took.
Kennedy met the 7 children of airport operator Joseph Hallsmere soon after, all dressed up and in a decorated cart pulled by a donkey, the symbol of the Democratic Party. Then it was off for a whirlwind tour of events, the Alcoa Union Labor Hall, American Legion Post 11, a 20-minute press conference at Lafayette City Hall, packed with 200 people, then to Purdue.
Thank the Purduean Party representatives for their endorsement.
Before every photo op, Kennedy taking off his overcoat to maintain his youthful image of vigor. The last stop was St. Elizabeth Hospital, where JFK's advance men decreed Kennedy had to meet everyone out front.
We can't let him go into the hospital because he'll never come out. He'll just go in, and if he goes into one room, he's going to go into all of them. So we had a gentleman who was there.
That gentleman, City Councilman Steve Meyer's grandfather, Fred Meyer. A framed copy proudly displayed in his grandson's law office.
It's just a really neat piece of history that handed down through the family. Of course, my grandfather was a Democrat and came from a family of Democrats, and so he was thrilled that Kennedy would be the first Catholic president as well, and so he was just really, I think, thrilled and honored to be a part of history.
Because of a union strike at the hotel downtown, Kennedy freshened up at the Devon Plaza Motel, which still stands at North 26th Street and Sagamore Parkway. Then it was off to the big event, a dinner and speech at Central Catholic High School. Each ticket was $10, equivalent to a $78 ticket today. Still, 2,000 people filled the gym.
Oh, packed. The whole gym was packed.
I don't know how many people, but the gym was overflowing. It was really a big deal for little old Lafayette.
Kennedy, who suffered from chronic digestive problems, couldn't eat the main course. Instead, caused a bit of a panic when he asked for poached eggs, and there were none to be found, except at the bishop's home.
Somebody had to run out and find a couple eggs and poach them for him.
The senator had visited twice the year before. On April 13, 1959, here at Duncan Hall, Kennedy attended a reception organized by Democratic leaders. 6 months later, on October 3rd, he visited Purdue President Fred Hovde. Then, here at Ross Aid, a conflicted Kennedy watched as the Purdue football team defeated Notre Dame 28-7. Gettings remembers, even when sitting, Kennedy's hands were never still.
A nervous person. He was the type of person that you knew he was always thinking. You'd never think of telling him a joke.
But Kennedy could certainly tell one. His Central Catholic speech harkened back to his trip 6 months earlier.
And I was the guest of the president of Purdue University. I had an honorary degree from the University of Notre Dame, so before going up there, I said, what should I do? And they said, well, you cheer for Purdue and pray for Notre Dame.
I liked his accent.
Harold Amstutz never met JFK, but has many of Kennedy's Lafayette pictures displayed in his law office.
Yeah, when he was president, I was 6, 7, 8, and 9 years old, so he was my hero along with the astronauts.
The history buff has collected thousands of items of Kennedy memorabilia and books.
What's your favorite piece?
The last one you get.
Gettings has a framed note from Kennedy when he won the Democratic primary for Lafayette mayor in 1959. But even more valued?
Mayor Gettings, with esteem and best wishes, John F. Kennedy.
An autographed Profiles in Courage book putting in ink the memories of a single day, April 7, 1960.
Time goes by, and the older you get, the faster it goes.
But more than a half-century ago, time seemed to stand still. Reporting in Lafayette, Dan Klein, News 18.
I look for cars, flat screen TVs.
The list goes on.
Trucks, motorcycles, boats.
And on.
I've actually looked on Craigslist for stuff for my son, like school clothes.
And on.
Bikes, iPhones.
Whether it's practical or even a little strange, it seems like just about anything is available on the internet. More specifically, Craigslist. From buying and selling items to personal ads, the website has it all. But for one West Lafayette woman, one ad for house cleaning became a little too personal.
He said to me that he was hoping that nude or sexy cleaning would be an option.
The woman wishes to remain anonymous, but wants to tell her story. She was texting with somebody who was interested in having her clean a 3-bedroom house. She says she was caught off guard when the conversation turned sexual.
It kind of felt like it was a form of sexual harassment online, because even though I didn't go there, if another woman did go there, then they could have been put in any situation that they just weren't prepared for.
That's when she stopped being interested and even pulled her ad off Craigslist. I've decided to post a personal ad on the internet just to see how easy it would be to meet up with a complete stranger. I am looking for a special someone to settle down with. I'm ready for that romantic relationship. If you want to meet up, contact me. It It didn't take long to get a response. Within 45 minutes, I got my first reply with a picture included. 36 more responses arrived within the next 24 hours. Surprisingly, few had inappropriate content, but a few didn't hide their intentions. Dozens of responses just asked a simple question: do you have a pic? Even a month later, a few responses kept trickling in for a grand total of 89. If I really wanted to meet up with any of these men, Lafayette Police Detective Scott Galloway says I would just have to use some common sense.
For one thing, not put anything too personal on these personal ads. And also, if they are going to meet somebody, meet them in public.
Heavy rainfall has caused waters to rise in Tippecanoe County. Christina James says it's not uncommon for this area on North 9th Street to flood, but she says with more rain in the forecast, she's worried the water is going to rise higher than ever.
It's just going to keep rising. We're not going to get a break in between.
Just moments after speaking to News 18, James and her daughter had to evacuate their horses due to the rising water, showing just how dangerous conditions can be and how quickly floodwaters can rise. Tippecanoe County Sheriff Sergeant Brian Lowe says flash flooding has been causing problems throughout the county.
They're finding a lot of flooded roadways. Some of it's due to just water not being able to go anywhere. Others is low-lying areas where it's just standing and there's nowhere for it to go.
Sergeant Lowe says if you come across standing water in the roadway, your best bet is to try not to drive through it because you may not realize just how deep the water is or how fast it's flowing until it's too late.
If it's water flowing and it's flowing rapidly, it can actually pick your vehicle up and move you. And there's not anything you can do to stop that.
It's hard to say. At this point, you just play it by ear and just hope for the best. At this point, that's all you can do.
The best place to be on St. Patrick's Day is an Irish pub, and there's no better Irish pub than Nine Irish Brothers. Irish immigrants started it to celebrate their Irish heritage, and we've been playing, like I said, we've been playing here for years. St. Patrick's Day is our biggest day of the year. We play Celtic rock. It's original rock music with bagpipes and fiddles. Most of us are Scottish descent, but St. Patrick was Scottish anyway, so we're all one Celtic blood on St. Patrick's Day. You know, the Scots and the Irish and the Welsh.
I'm from Kansas, and St. Patty's Day is a big tradition of getting together with friends, parades, having a good time, bringing out the Irish, and just obviously the music.
It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of Guinness, which is the national drink of Ireland.
Come on out, have a pint or two and a Guinness, and celebrate a true St. Patrick's Day.